talking about season 2 of the Vampire Diaries today. I loved it. I thought it was an improvement over season 1, and I also thought season 1 was really cool. So so yeah, I basically love the show right now. I'm gonna talk about fun things about the show and everything, but I'm not gonna be too focused on the lore, which is just madness, complete lunacy. I'm not really going to focus on the lore. The lore is, I think, serviceable to like the greater postmodern meanings of the piece. Like the lore is serviceable, the lore is fine, you know. It could range anywhere from poetic to unbelievably absurd. I'm not going to be here talking about the lore and the intricacies of it. I know that a lot of Vampire Diaries videos do talk about the lore. I don't really care about the lore. The lore is adding to the postmodern qualities of the piece. The Vampire Diaries is was developed and was ran. The auteurs behind the show, the showrunners are Kevin Williamson and Julie Plec. I am personally very obsessed with Kevin Williamson, and I have been for quite a long time. So I'm going to kind of devote a lot of my time in these analysis videos, at least for the first 3 or 4 seasons, because I'm pretty sure Kevin left after season 3 or 4. Maybe someone in the comments can tell me exactly when he left. But I think it was around the end of season 3. But regardless, he was here for this season, so let's see what Kevin's trying to tell us. He's always trying to tell us some really interesting things through postmodern methods. That's what Dawson's Creek was all about. I know he did last summer, and the Scream films were all about. The faculty as well. Kevin Williamson is a genius and possibly my favorite person working in postmodern art. Uh, Also, my favorite person working in teen television. So he's kind of a god around here. The coolest thing about the Vampire Diaries for me is that it's the Society of the Spectacle in its slut era. Like it's Guy Debord in his slut era. What do I even mean by that? I will figure it out along with you. Uh, why did I open it with? All right, Zach, we're taking a different angle than what I thought I was gonna do before I pressed record. Let's do this. Um, The Vampire Diaries is very obsessed with doubles, with representations. It gives us the past as the present, and the present is a projection of the past, a collection of representations. The present is a projection of the past, an actual projection. And let's carry that over to everything. The vampire metaphor in its modern day is a projection or a re representation, a collection of images of its original intents. The television adaptation of the Vampire Diaries is a projection of the original novels from L.J. Smith. The novels themselves are a representation of its author. Everything is a representation. It's very hard to figure out where true meaning, true personality, or even where if a true soul exists within an object when it has been objectified through the centuries, through representations and through projections. And that's what makes the Vampire Diaries, I think, just so spectacular. Kevin Williamson is a master of the Society of the Spectacle, and here it seems just so effortless that we are seeing these doubles, not simply within the doppelganger of Elena and Catherine, but within brothers, within artifacts, artifacts of artifice, artifacts of the past being repurposed and represented within modern narratives, modern storylines, which are projections or re-representations, representations of the past. The vampire metaphor for Kevin Williamson is pure postmodernism, or a vampire is a projection of the human it once was, the human they once were. In season 2, we're told that it's a hyper exaggeration of all of the most melodramatic parts of you. When you would turn into a vampire, it amplifies all the most melodramatic parts of yourself. It's a projection, a representation, a collection of images, of moments, of noise. I think that Williamson is even saying that teen drama and teen shows, that's where you get the true projection, the true over amplification, which projection upon projection upon projection upon projection, representations being represented over and over and over again ad nauseum, ad infinitum. You get amplification, you get hyper exaggeration, you get the vampire. Through teen television shows, they latch onto the melodramatic components of narratives, of romantic trysts, of friendships, those most melodramatic and hysterical components of them, and amplifies them. The teen drama itself is the vampire of television, of pop postmodern thought. And this is really just expressed everywhere. Even in the season finale, they're watching Gone with the Wind, and Damon thinks he sees Catherine or Elena in the projection itself, which is a projection of the past, a projection of the town's own history. I mean, the narrative that we're seeing is a recreation of a representation of the projection of the town's involvement in the Civil War. It's so sophisticated in a very, very erotic way, and in ways that are sometimes too powerful to really comprehend fully. I loved this season. Kevin Williamson, a genius through and through, and I'm so impressed that he was able to keep his finger on the pulse of teen drama. Not many people can do that. People like Stephanie Savage and Josh Schwartz did it by not only doing the OC, but also Gossip Girl later on, and kind of connecting with two different generations of teenagers. Kevin did it as well, and I think in much larger ways with Dawson's Creek, Scream, and the Vampire Diaries. Like, wow! And comparing Vampire Diaries to Dawson's Creek, he's turned into something of a chameleon. His postmodern brain, his thought is still there. It is still within the vein, the blood of Dawson's Creek. But the show itself compositionally adheres to modernity, and I think that that is like kind of really special, really incredible. Like I love someone like Joss Whedon, for instance, but Joss Whedon has become a relic of a very certain time, a time that I love, and I still think Joss Whedon is great, or was once completely genius, but he hasn't adapted. Kevin adapts seemingly effortlessly while remaining true to furthering postmodern investigations of art, society, sex, and culture through teen drama and teen horror. That's really important too. In a large way, is returning to the horror genre instead of something like Scream 2. I'm gonna blame the movies, or Scream One's Don't You Blame the Movies. Movies don't make psychos. Movies make psychos more creative. In the Vampire Diaries, I'm gonna blame the past, or don't you blame the past. The past doesn't make psychos. The past makes psychos more creative. Because I think that like Kevin's kind of done with art critiques within art. Like they're still in the Vampire Diaries, but he's broadening it to a larger spectacle, to the idea that the past is so removed from us, that we only know it through a collection of representations, through a collection of artifacts and objects. That the past may as well be a movie, and maybe we engage with history the same way that we engage with film or television or literature. Maybe we engage with it in the same way because we don't know any other way to engage with it, because like the object is still the same. The artifacts are very similar. Our lives have not only become cinematic, but the past is nothing but cinematic. Past is narrative, and the past is always with us because the present is a projection of it. It's the past's representation. And we fall into standard archetypes, maybe even the archetypes of our own lineage, and we repeat, we repeat. And the amplification of the repetition of the past invading on the present and vice versa. That's where you get the horrific elements, but that's also where you get the romance. And I really do love the romance of the Vampire Diaries. I believe the largest question that could be asked of me is, am I team Stefan or team Damon? To which I respond, how is that even a question? Damon. Damon, 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 all what are you talking about? Stefan who? Who would pick Stefan? I'm being kind of rude, but uh, Damon Salvatore is a fascinating character. Um, I love watching Ian Somerhalder in this show. He's spectacular. He's so good in season two. Oh my God, such a complex character, so sophisticated, and I think also very funny and very tender. They've improved on the character a lot from season one, which is so impressive because season one, Damon was one of the best parts of it. And season two, we get a whole new world of sensitivity from this heathen. I love him so much. I still have a lot of trouble connecting with Elena. I think Elena's fine. Just like the lore, I think Elena is serviceable, that she is fine, that she provides and she functions adequately within the postmodern metaphorical tools that the Vampire Diaries is comprised of. Elena's fine. I still can't really connect with her too well. Uh, but I'm okay with it right now because Catherine, I love Catherine to death. I think Catherine is so fucking cool. And Nina Dobrev is incredible when she's playing Catherine. Maybe Elena's just very boring because Catherine is just so engaging, so immediately arresting, stunning, vicious, and sexy. I love Catherine. But I love that that is the most clear and obvious doppelganger, the most clear and obvious sign of a double. And when comparing Catherine and Elena together, it is so poetic and just so beautiful. And the ways that Stefan and Damon interact with both of them, those different kind of shadowy archetypes with the shadowy dimensions of both Elena and Catherine. Catherine was electrifying this season. I fucking dug her so much. And my best girl, my Vampire Diaries crush, Bonnie, is awesome still. Still a wonderful character. We're still continuing this really striking black exploration of witches. And I think through her we get the sincerity within the idea of history repeating itself ad nauseum through amplifications, representations, and projections. We get sincerity through Bonnie because Bonnie, I think, is the true hero of the Vampire Diaries. I am convinced at this point. I thought she was incredible. I thought she was an incredible character to follow. Basically, everything she did this season made me love her even more, except for the fact that she was paired up romantically with Jeremy, and Jeremy is still a complete fucking annoying bore. Maybe I'm projecting myself right now. I hate Jeremy. I hate Jeremy so much. Why couldn't we invent a cool love interest for Bonnie? Why did she get saddled with this other character, Jeremy? Like, it is very clear that you had no goal for Jeremy or something. You didn't know what you're gonna do with Jeremy, so you just put him with Bonnie. Fuck it. Who cares if they don't have any chemistry whatsoever? Put them together because you don't know what the fuck to do with Jeremy. I see you. I see you, Kevin Williamson and Julie Plec. I know what you're doing. Same with Alaric. You didn't know what to do with him, so you just put him through the weirdest shit ever. Fine. Fine. Fuck that, though. Bonnie deserves better. But I love Bonnie so much. I love her connection, her the way that she grapples with legacy and with power, with the with the concept of obligation, of magic. Bianca Lawson even kind of reappears in the final episode. Her voice does, speaking through Bonnie. And if you watch my first season analysis, I think that that pretty much confirms my reading of Bianca Lawson being cast on the Vampire Diaries, that she is literally speaking through the new versions of her, the new archetypes of her. Bianca Lawson did so much heavy lifting for black characters on teen shows, and now she's speaking through her legacy, through her lineage, through her family tree, so to speak, through Cat Graham's character, which is a much larger and easily the most heroic character on the Vampire Diaries, something that Bianca Lawson, even though she was the sexiest, my God, she's a goddess, and she's a goddess, and Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna act like the lights didn't just go out for a minute. They did. I'm being haunted by Emily Bennett. I can't get too thirsty right now. Um, she's the she's a goddess. She's also basically a vampire. I don't even know what I was saying. The lights went out. But she was never able to have a role that was as fulfilling and as large as Kat Graham's was on the Vampire Diaries. And I feel like Kat Graham actually speaking with Bianca Lawson's voice is one of the most powerful postmodern things that Kevin Williamson did here. Because it's expressing so much in such a simple way that also reaffirms the overall thesis of the show, which is that the present is the projection of the past. And there it is. Kat Graham speaking with Bianca Lawson's voice. Black teen idols speaking through each other. God, that's gorgeous. I am impressed by Bonnie's selflessness, by her heroism, by the fact that she was willing to die for her friends, for Elena specifically. Yeah, I love that character so much. I think she's an actually heroic character, and I think she's a very sincere character. You know, I feel like Williamson is taking a few postmodern liberties when he's handling the other characters. But when he's with Bonnie and we're talking about the history of Black witches and exploring those kind of postmodern qualities, I think he's being very sincere and he's a master of tone. And that's the perfect choice. That's the perfect choice. Postmodernism can be really cynical and nihilistic and empty without sincerity. And through Bonnie Bennett, we we get worlds of sincerity. And yeah, I still love her to death. Still my favorite character. Still the best girl. Can't wait to see where we go with her character. And even though I hate Jeremy, that cliffhanger was fun because I always love the women he's paired off with, just like Bonnie this season. At the very end of As I Lay Dying, the season finale for season two, both Vicky and Anna show up in his kitchen. And I'm like, well, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but whoa, that's cool. I want to see what that's all about. Once again, the present is the projection of the past, a collection of representations and images, objects, artifacts, vessels. We get introductions of werewolves this season and of the originals, which the originals have to be anomalies within Williamson's vampiric worldview, especially the postmodern vampiric worldview. Originals, ones who are not representations, ones who are pure. That's why they're so calculating, evil, almost alien. I really liked Elijah. And I have high hopes for Stefan and Klaus in this next season. They look very good together. There's a kind of physical poetry to the two of them, and I see a lot of tragedy. So I'm excited. The werewolf metaphor is always beautiful, especially within a high school setting, because through the werewolf, and especially masculine, and the werewolf is I think the best way to uh talk about not just puberty, but toxic masculinity, um coming of age in ultra masculine ways, which Tyler, see, I know his name now, which Tyler is going through this season. And I think they made Tyler a much better character this season. I like that we're applying the werewolf metaphor to him because he was already just suffused with anger. He was already like volatile. And I like that we're looking at the a massive representation of his toxic qualities and that being forced to face that sort of hyper representation of your worst attributes has seemed to make Tyler evolve and mature as as a man, really. That's awesome. That's awesome. They did well with Tyler. They did wonderfully with Caroline, who is now a vampire. Adorable character, very funny, very fun, and often very poignant. I like Caroline a lot. I still think Matt is a doofus goober. I don't like Matt. The fuck is the point of Matt? We don't need Matt Donovan at all. Um, I like seeing Vicky Donovan, of course, because she's pretty and she's in the final scene of this season. That's the only Donovan I care about. Matt is pointless at this point. I was very impressed by the structure of the second season. I thought it was paced exceptionally well. Um, but most of all, I am thrilled to be engaging with Kevin Williamson's brand of pop teen postmodernism again. And it's evolved. It has evolved, and it's lovely, and it's very sophisticated, and it's more than complex. It's puzzling. Like as I'm watching the show, I'm getting lost in the labyrinth of philosophy that the Vampire Diaries offers me. It is confounding, and I love it. And this love triangle, this beautiful Elena, Damon, and Stefan. It's wonderfully created, beautifully composed through and through. Only Kevin Williamson could have written something, a love triangle as beautiful as this. Only the guy who did Joey Pacey and Dawson could write this love triangle. It's extremely compelling. And while I choose Damon, I'm not a complete jerk. I do see so many great qualities in Stefan. And Paul Wesley is also great in the role. He has the less interesting role of the two brothers, and Ian Somerhalder is just so captivating that I just feel bad for Stefan a lot of the time. For Stefan. I also hate his name. It doesn't help. Then again, Joshua Jackson had, I think, the better role as Pacey than James Van Der Beek had as Dawson. I'm just saying that this fits like wonderfully into the Kevin Williamson wheelhouse of skills. And even then, we're furthering the ideas too, those postmodern ones, because a lot of times the devotion and the affection that they're showing Elena are projections of the affection and adoration that they once showed Catherine. The present is a projection of the past, a collection of images, of movements, of kisses. And history repeats and repeats and repeats because it's not history, it's the present. And it always has been. And it always will be. It's a spectacle. And I am loving it. Vampire Diaries is so cool right now.